Good morning, guys. Happy Martin Luther King's Day. And, Martin Luther King, amazing civil rights leader, a peaceful protest. Different people in that movement that I love to read about that had different philosophies. I love Malcolm X, as I've said before. But one thing that I'll say is, ironically, Martin Luther King has to do with what I have to talk about this morning. And the problem that I have in politics, when I talk to my friends and my family, they always start going into conspiracy theories or things that happen. Like Martin Luther King, for example. J. Edgar Hoover uh, wiretapped Martin Luther King's hotel rooms and had audio tape of him having sex with other women. And so when I talk to my friends and family, they're always saying, well, Barack Obama did this or Bill Clinton did this, and they'll have these conspiracy theories. I don't know whether those conspiracy theories are true or not. I don't care whether they're true or not, because I talk about Richard Nixon, and he says this: when you're president, you have to do certain things at certain times. And cable news does it all the time, which leads you far astray from the issue of the policy. I'm worried about the policy. I'm not worried about the stuff they do as president. A lot of where I get that from, when I talk about Richard Nixon, that's what he said. When you're president, you have to do some things certain time. But when I talk about The Godfather a lot, it's one of my favorite movies. There's a reason why it's on AFI's either 1 or 2, which the other one is Citizen Kane, which I don't really like for some reason. But The Godfather I loved. And one line in The Godfather that I'll never forget is when Vito Corleone is getting old and Michael has to take control of the family, and he goes to talk to Kay about he wants to marry her, and he says, my father is no different than any other powerful man. And Kay looks back at Michael and she says, Michael, you know how naive you sound. Presidents and senators don't have men killed. And Michael says, now who's being naive, Kay? And so another line Michael says in Godfather 2 is, you have to think like people around you think. So I took all the time in the world to read what these people's worldview is, what they think of the world. Like when I talk about Joseph Schumpeter's book, Capitalism versus Communism. And so people have different views of the world. But people have been coming up with these conspiracy theories forever, and some of them, I don't know whether they're true or not, but people said FDR let Pearl Harbor happen because he wanted to let us into the war. I've heard a lot of people say that Dwight Eisenhower took part in George Patton being killed because George Patton wanted to go to war with Russia after World War II was over. So it leads you far astray from the policy that affects your own lives. When you start going into the weeds, we start getting away from the policy, which is part of the reason why we're in the shape we're in now, is because that's what news hosts do. They start distracting people with sex. They start distracting people with conspiracy theories rather than the issues that pertain to your lives. And I don't engage in that because it's the most frustrating thing that I have to do with my own friends, my own family, and people. When I talk to them, I start talking to them about policy, and we end up talking about wild conspiracy theories like Alex Jones and school shootings and all of these conspiracy theories that I don't care about. I'm concerned about the policies that shape your guys' life. I understand there's more salacious things that are interesting. I read a ton about 9/11 and the Kennedy assassination. The Kennedy assassination, I have a pretty firm grasp on what I think happened. And 9/11, I think something else happened, but I don't know what's true and what's not. I don't know. But I don't focus on any of it as it pertains to what I'm trying to do now, which is worry about the policy that affects the prices in the grocery store. Worry about why 18% more people are homeless this year than last. Because when you start going down those rabbit holes, that's how they lead you astray from the issues that really matter, that put food on your table, that give you guys your own personal freedoms. I'll say it again. Richard Nixon said it. When you're president, you have to do things at certain times. It's when That's the way it works. They're powerful people. They do things. I'm not worried about it. I'll let other people worried about it. I'm concerned about the policies that affect your guys' housing, the policies that affect your guys' school kids' education. So it's one of the most frustrating things for me is that is every single president has a conspiracy theory attached to them. And when I start talking to people about policy, they go down these rabbit holes and we don't get anywhere.